Would you believe that back in 2009, I needed a second job to help me pay for my first job? Yeah, I was in kind of a tight situation. I was traveling 120 some miles every day, round trip, to take me into my primary job, which I thought gave me a lot of room for advancement. It was actually, in the first couple of years, it was giving me a lot of hope for advancement. I was hoping to advance from minimum wage to about six figures a year if I could get myself into a management position. And when I first started working there back in 2009, minimum wage in the state of Missouri was like $7.05 per hour. And I really wasn't even getting a 40-hour week. So my job was actually costing me a great deal of money just in gas alone. Gas, tires, oil, keeping the car that I had at the time in perfect running order or good enough running order to get me back and forth 5 days a week. And I mean, all that expense, it ate up a large chunk of my paycheck. And what wasn't eaten up by my car and travel expenses was eaten up by utilities, just keeping the lights on in our home. And the problem with that is that after all those bills and expenses were paid, we still had to eat. And so I needed to do something. I needed to get a second job at least that would pay me to travel into my first job. But the problem with that, if you've worked two jobs or three jobs, you know how this balancing act operates. You have to juggle two or three different schedules between your different employers, and those schedules are in their control, not really your control. And so, what I wanted to get a second job whose schedule I could control. And I figured the only way to do that was to essentially create my own job. And so that's what I did. I brainstormed back in one year, it was right before spring. I brainstormed what I could be doing to earn money from home. And with spring coming up, I figured lawn mowing was a perfect second job that I could create for myself because where I live, we have a lot of retirees, more retirees per capita than probably a lot of other places across the nation. We are a favorite location for retirees, and they have a need. They have pretty good money. They have that fixed income coming in, and they need somebody to do labor around their homes. You know, a lot of little old ladies needing somebody like me to mow their lawns and do other odd jobs on the side. And so that's what I figured I would do. I advertised in the local newspaper, and within a couple of weeks, I was getting my first paying jobs coming in. And so I was happy. So my second job that I created was paying me to go into my other job. And what I was doing is I wanted to save on gas money. I wanted to make this as strategic as I could. So I advertised in local newspapers that were in my local community and also in the next town over that I traveled through every day on my way into my primary job. And so what I figured I could do, and this actually turned out to be a pretty good move on my part, I wanted to be able to schedule lawn mowing jobs on my way into my primary job. And yeah, that worked out for a good year and a half, actually. Kept me busy because I was working, towards the end, I was working 8 hours a day on my primary job, plus a 2 hour commute back and forth, plus, working my lawn jobs on the side. And some lawn jobs I did on my way into work, some lawn jobs I did on my days off. So yeah, it really kept me busy. I never really had one full day off, but we kept the money coming in. Then in 2011, I found out that my primary job really had no intention of promoting me into higher management. I asked point blank the regional manager, when I could expect to get some sort of promotion, if not higher management, at least, middle management. She laughed. She laughed in my face and told me, Ralph, you are too damned old. Age discrimination is what was keeping me from that promotion. And I let that sink in for a while. And I thought to myself, do I really want to work for a company that is going to be pulling nonsense like this on good, hard-working employees, employees with potential? Just laugh in their face and tell them, you're too damned old to get promoted here, which is illegal, by the way. But I later found out that this company had a long history of illegal acts, labor violations, environmental violations, you name it. Big company, but not one that I would really want to grow with anyway. So, what I did when I got that information, figured all that out, I went ahead and figured, what can I do to ramp up my home-based business and tell this other crackerjack company goodbye? And that's what I did. Within a few months, I'd ramped up my lawn care business, and I was also doing pet sitting on the side, house sitting on the side. You see, we have a lot of people in this neighborhood. A lot of them are old, that need to have their places taken care of by somebody else. And then we have a lot of part-timers, people coming down. We live in a lakes area where people come down on the weekends to, have their fun out fishing and whatnot and play. And so, yeah, some of them needed their homes sat as well as their lawns mowed. And home sitting, pet sitting, those were things I could do summer, spring, winter, fall, any time of year. So I was branching out at that time. And yeah, I went ahead and I scaled up my home-based business to where it was paying me a full-time income, not just a part-time income. And I told my other boss, goodbye. I fired him. And we left on good terms, surprisingly, because, he understood what was going on. He really wasn't responsible for all the shenanigans going on in the upper corporate office, but he had to abide by them. And he understood where I was coming from and why I was leaving. And so, yeah, he said, I hate to lose you, but I understand why you're doing this. Good luck in your own business. And yeah, that was back in 2011. And I've been working from home ever since. Of course, I've transitioned in my business since then. I've let the lawn care side of the business go. I no longer do lawn care, no longer do pet sitting, no longer do house sitting, but I do affiliate marketing, and I also help coach people over the phone, mostly in the areas of love and relationships, and also getting your own personal business going. And that's been paying the bills pretty good for the last several years. And that really is the bulk of my story. Working from home has given me the ability to have my own freedom, to do what I want, to organize my own schedule, to take care of my parents in their final years when they were getting sick. One year, just a couple of months before I left my primary job, and this was my second and probably most compelling reason to leave, found out that my dad was coming down with vascular dementia. He'd been showing signs of it for a few months. And at the same time, my mother was coming down with Alzheimer's disease. And my dad just came to me and said, we need somebody to take care of us. Ralph, we need a keeper, is what he said. We need somebody to look after us in our home, because he realized he was slipping, mom was slipping, and it was either getting somebody to come in and take care of them or off to the nursing home. There was no other option. So, yeah, I volunteered to do that. I lived close by, and working my own home-based business, again, gave me the freedom to be able to do that, be able to take care of the home business, go out there and mow lawns, come right back home, take care of mom and dad, make sure everything was going good there, and get a few hours of sleep at night, wake up early in the morning, and start the whole process over again. But having my own business made that possible. I would never have been able to do that. Take care of my own parents for how long was it? About 5 years before they finally got to the point where we did have to put them into a home and they died shortly thereafter. But yeah, I think we kept them home for a good 5 years. But if I was working 120 miles away, working for the world's largest retailer or even the world's smallest retailer, trying to balance that load, there would be no way I could have done that. Working my own home based business let me take care of my parents in their final years and still keep an income coming in. And today gives me a whole heck of a lot of freedom. And I'm learning more and more about the home business industry and branching out in areas that back in 2009, 2010, I never thought I'd be getting into. But I'm having a lot of fun, growing along the way, and just glad to have my freedom. Now, if you're in a position where you need to get a better job, why not consider building your own job or running your own business? There are multiple ways of doing that. Looking back, I think I did it the hard way. But I mean, it was successful, and I'm glad that it was successful. But there are many other easier ways of doing it than the path that I chose. If you want to start your own business from home, comment down below. Let me know. Do you want to be your own boss, have your own freedom, write your own schedule? Do you want to have the time to do things that are important to you without asking your employer for permission? Then maybe we can talk and maybe you can get started in your own home based business. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a lot of work, takes a lot of commitment, takes a certain level of risk because, yeah, cutting that umbilical cord and starting your own thing, it is kind of risky. There will be times when your home business is doing really well, and then there will be other times when your business is not doing so well. It has its natural ups and downs, just like a lot of other things in life. But if you're committed to it long term, you're willing to work your full time job that you have right now while building your future working from home, then I think you can make things happen. I know I was able to make things happen, and I've seen a lot of other people in this industry just make it happen. You need to have the determination, the work ethic, the teachability, coachability to be able to make things work out in your favor. If you think you've got all that going for you, let me know. Or just visit my link. I've got an affiliate marketing school that I am promoting. I am learning a heck of a lot in it, and it pays 80% recurring commissions. So yeah, you can be earning like $8 commissions, $20 commissions, $100 commissions, recurring month after month after month. We got 3 different levels. There's a lot of value at each level. If you're interested in taking a look, just go down to that link, be in the program description down below, or just reach out to me and get it. But the link is ralphshomebiz.com. And yeah, I think we've got something for about everybody. It's a low entry point that pays relatively high recurring commissions. So for me, it's something that I am building the next leg of my story on, the rest of my future on. They've been around since 2016, and it is a wonderful community, a great place to learn, a great place to grow. And man, you can grow in more ways than just one. So yeah, check that link out or reach out and message me. Okay, this is Ralph signing out. Thank you for dropping by. If you found some value in this story of mine, please let me know. Like, share, subscribe, and until later, we'll catch you in future updates. So long. Bye-bye.